Hi friend, welcome back. So today we're going to be talking about the best 10 small businesses to start during a recession or economic hard times. I think many of us have been hit by inflation, and even a lot of us have been hit by job loss. It's important to realize that yes, times are hard, but there are also ways that you can benefit from the recession. If you study the recessions that have happened, you can see what types of businesses have historically actually done well during recessions. So not only have these businesses done well, but they have actually benefited from the recession. So there's certain things that people especially need during a recession. And so basically those are going to be profitable businesses. And that's what we're going to be focusing on today. So my name is Rebecca, and on this channel we are focusing on building wealth and finding ways to pursue our dreams without being tied down to a traditional 9-to-5 job. So there's a lot of different ways that we can do that. There's a lot of aspects that go into those things, but today, like I said, we're focusing on small business, which is my personal way to create margin and freedom in my life to be able to do the things that I want to do and pursue my dreams at the same time as providing for my family. As a quick disclaimer, this content is meant for educational purposes only, and I am not a business advisor, so if you need professional advice, please find a professional. So with that out of the way, let's go ahead and jump right into the top 10 best businesses that you can start during a recession to benefit from that recession. So number one is going to be real estate. Okay, and so there are 3 different ways that you can benefit from real estate during economic hard times. Number one is obviously buying real estate. And right now, we are not seeing low interest rates, but historically, when there's a recession, you're going to see the interest rates drop. And so that's a great time for buyers to jump in and start buying, obviously, because it's easier to buy when the interest rates are low. And the reason that they tend to get low during a recession is because the central banks, they want to encourage investment, and so they lower them. They're trying to stimulate the economy and make it better. Now, obviously, like I said, we haven't seen that so far during what's going on right now, but it's definitely possible that we could see that coming up in the future if the banks start to realize, hey, we need to stimulate the economy, we need to do what's best. Who knows? We don't know what's going to happen. I'm not trying to predict what might happen. I'm not a realtor, and I don't think anybody can fully know what would happen. But we do know historically what has happened, and so it might be something to be ready for in case it happens. We can jump on that, we can benefit from it. So the second way that real estate is going to be beneficial in a recession is by becoming a realtor. So just like when the rates drop, you might want to buy, you also might want to be ready to sell real estate as a realtor. I think right now, with interest rates being so high as they are, there's a lot of people who are probably not buying when they would have, and so there's probably like a whole lot more people chomping at the bit, like ready to buy when the rates drop. So it could be a great opportunity to get your real estate license now, be ready for whenever that does happen, and then be able to kind of benefit from the rates dropping when or if they do. Okay, so the third way that real estate can benefit you is by becoming a property manager, and we all know that renting is also very valid, especially during economic hard times. So not everybody can afford to buy real estate, especially during a hard time, and so there's always going to be a need for property management, and especially if fewer people can afford to own homes during a downturn, then there's more renting going on, there's more need for that niche. Okay, so number 2, the second business that we can benefit from in a recession or downturn is going to be entertainment. So if you look at the recessions that we've been through, entertainment industries such as Netflix have just skyrocketed. And there's a couple of reasons for this. The main reason being that people need relief from stress during these hard times. And so you're going to see a couple of different businesses on this list that might feel a little bit surprising, but it's actually because of this reason that people unfortunately feel a lot of stress during a recession, and it's understandable. I think most of us do when we start seeing inflation and start not being able to maintain the same lifestyle that we did before and have to make some hard decisions. There's just a lot of stress that goes into that, and so a lot of us do look for different ways to alleviate some of that stress. And so entertainment is going to be one of them, and what I would say is obviously not everybody's going to have the money to be able to afford starting a mega business like Netflix, but what you could do is maybe start some entertaining content, because we know that content creation is accessible to everybody these days, whether that's a TikTok account, a YouTube account, or even a blog. You can monetize all of those things, and if your content is entertaining enough, you could definitely benefit those people who maybe don't have the money to pay for something like Netflix, and in return you can also benefit because it's a business in itself. Alright, so number 3 is going to be financial planning services. So any sort of financial services are going to be doing well during a recession, and that's because people are concerned about their money and people really want to plan ahead to make sure that they're going to be okay. Like I said, there's that stress, there's that fear. So if you're good with finances, you can help people to feel more secure and to get their finances into a place where they know that they're going to be okay. And so financial planning services, bookkeeping for businesses, all of that is going to be very valid, and it's not going to drop down during a recession because it's always going to be needed, and in fact it's going to be needed more, or the need for it is going to be definitely felt more by people because of financial crisis. Alright, so number 4 is going to be healthcare and pharmaceuticals. Obviously, people are always going to need to take care of their health, so this one is a little bit straightforward. If you think about it, like, people are always going to need their medicines, even down to the small things that are not medications but they're health related. Like, people are always going to need those. If you think about like drugstore items, so even over-the-counter drugs such as ibuprofen and cough syrups, those things are going to be able to be sold legally by anybody, and so you may not have realized that you could actually resell these things. Another thing that goes into the healthcare and pharmaceutical kind of category is going to be like senior care and group homes for the elderly and the disabled, and these things are funded by the government typically, or you can also do private, but either way you go, you can make a whole lot of money. This is not going to be something that's just instant. It's going to take some work to get set up. It's going to take licensing and stuff, but it's definitely doable. It's not that complicated, and the amount of revenue that you can make and profit that you can make, it's going to be in the tens of thousands per month. It really depends on how many clients you have in your home and just some different factors, but it is a very profitable business. So that's never going to go out of style because there's always going to be seniors and people who need care. So number 5 is going to be virtual assistants and virtual freelance services in general. So this could include virtual assistants, copywriting, so you're writing material and content for somebody, or IT support, or cybersecurity, or digital marketing such as social media and email marketing and all of those things. So when an economic downturn comes and a recession comes, companies have to cut back their budget. And so you might think, oh, well then why would I try to sell something to them if they're cutting their budget? And the reason is because they're not going to be able to employ as many full-time employees, but if they can outsource some of those jobs to somebody who does that full-time, it's not going to cost them as much, most likely, as paying a full-time employee who's not going to do the job quite as well as an expert would. And because you have your own freelance business, this is what you're doing all day long, you're able to charge a better price than a full-time employee would cost them. And so for that reason, it ends up being like a really win-win situation for everybody. So number 6 is going to be a retail e-commerce business. And this is one of the ones that I said was going to surprise you. You would think that in a recession, people are not going to be spending as much money, right? Wrong. During an economic hard time or recession, people actually tend to spend more. It's happening now. So if you look at the stats, people are spending more than they ever have. So I think people have a bit of a different approach than previous generations did in hard times. We don't necessarily want to just strip ourselves bare of everything that is enjoyable just to get by. So as a business owner or somebody who wants to become a business owner, we can also benefit from this, because this is another one of those ways that people are reducing their stress. So people are doing retail therapy. The other great thing about a retail e-commerce business is that it's something that anybody in the world can do with very little investment up front. Okay, number 7 is going to be logistics and deliveries, and this goes hand in hand with the previous one, because if people are buying more things, then those things have to be delivered somehow. Not only do they have to be delivered to people's doors, but they have to be delivered to stores. So trucking companies are going to be bringing the stuff to the stores, and that is, the more stuff that people buy, the more stuff that has to be transported and moved. And so a trucking company can be a very, very profitable business, and especially during this recession or downturn, because of the same reason that people are buying more things. All right, so number 8 is going to be beauty services. So this one might surprise you as well, but it is very similar to the retail therapy that is going on. And so people, regardless of the state of the economy, they want to look good, they want to feel good about themselves, and that also helps to reduce stress. This can be anything from beauty salons, you've got nail salons, hair salons, tattoo parlors, and even retail beauty products. So again, e-commerce site, retailing beauty products. Now you could always do a brick and mortar store also for retail, but I think that starting a brick and mortar store is quite a bit of capital for the majority of us. Number 9 is going to be parts and repairs and contractors. Regardless of what's going on in the economy, people are still going to need their houses. They're still going to need their cars. These repairs are always going to have to be done. These types of businesses have always done well throughout these recessions and downturns, because they're just necessities no matter what is going on. So if you've got some skills, or you're willing to learn those skills to do contracting and repairs, you can definitely succeed with this business no matter the economy. And also, you can also think about the parts that are going to be needed for all of those different types of services. So you've got plumbers, you've got AC and heating, you've got all of those things for the house, you've got car parts. All of those businesses, they're great for service businesses. They're also going to be e-commerce sites, because people are always going to need the parts. Where there is a service business, the parts will have to be bought. Number 10 is going to be educational services and basically schooling for jobs. So unfortunately, like I said earlier, a lot of people have lost their jobs recently, and people tend to be pretty concerned about getting new jobs. So what you can do is, if you have a skill that you can teach people, you can monetize that by teaching them the skills that's going to help them to go and get the job that they need. So I would recommend focusing in on all of these previous topics that we already talked about. If you have beauty skills, you can open up a beauty school. If you have a way to do that online where you can certify people legally online, fabulous. If you can do it cheaper than other schools are doing it, fantastic. If you have mechanic skills, if you have plumbing skills, all of the electrical, all those things, and then also with the business tech side, if you have IT, if you have cybersecurity skills, if you have virtual assistant skills, you can start training people in those different types of skills that will help them to go get a job that they need, because people don't realize which things are going to be able to make money and to be sustainable during a recession. But now you know, so now you can go out there if you have those skills in any of these areas, and you can help people to learn those skills and be able to get jobs. So really, you're going to be able to help people while also making the money that you need to provide for your family and benefiting from the recession instead of suffering from it. All right, guys, so that's going to be it for today, and I really hope that learning about these 10 areas of business that are going to do great in a recession was helpful to you, and that you are inspired and able to go forward and make the money that you need to make during this hard time. I really hope the best for you. And if you are looking into starting a small business up from scratch, but you do not know where to start, you can go ahead and check out my free resources that are down in this description, and I will walk you through it. Small business is my jam, so I got you. So that's gonna be it for today, guys, but let me know what you think in the comments below. Did you already know that there are certain businesses that are gonna do well in a recession, or did you learn something new today? And also I wanna know, which one would you be interested in starting? Okay, if you made it to the end of this video, I just want to say thank you so much for taking your time to be with me. I'm honored. I truly hope that this information was helpful to you. So until next time, guys, just remember that you are loved, you're not alone, and you've got this. Bye, guys.